In February 1957, a young boy's body was discovered inside a cardboard box on a quiet road in Philadelphia. He had no identification. No one came forward to claim him. For decades, he was only known as the boy in the box, a nameless child buried in a pauper's grave. For 65 years, his story haunted America. Who was he? Where did he come from? And why did nobody speak for him? This was more than just another cold case. It became one of the nation's greatest mysteries. A child left behind, voiceless, until DNA technology finally gave him back his name. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm taking you deep into a case that shook the heart of America and remained unsolved for over 6 decades. This isn't just about a crime. It's about identity, about justice, about a little boy who deserved so much more than what the world gave him. For years, he was America's unknown child. But in December 2022, that changed. Authorities announced that they had finally identified him, Joseph Augustus Zarelli. This is the story of how one of the oldest mysteries in American history was finally solved. On February 25, 1957, a man was walking through a brush-filled area along Susquehanna Road in Fox Chase, Philadelphia. He came across a large cardboard box, an empty bassinet box from a department store. Inside was the body of a little boy, naked, wrapped in a thin blanket, and beaten. He was estimated to be around 3 to 7 years old. His hair had been crudely cut, as if someone had shaved his head quickly. His body showed signs of malnutrition, and his death was caused by blunt force trauma. Police rushed to the scene. This was a child, abandoned like trash. They were certain that someone would soon report him missing, but nobody ever did. And that was the beginning of a mystery that would consume investigators and the public for generations. The police worked tirelessly. They fingerprinted the boy, photographed his face, and even released post-mortem images to the media, hoping someone would recognize him. Thousands of flyers were sent across Philadelphia, tucked into gas bills and mailed to residents. But no one claimed him. No family stepped forward. No one said, "That's my child." Investigators chased every lead. They checked missing children's reports across the country. They traced the box to a JCPenney store in Upper Darby. The blanket was examined, its pattern studied. Still nothing. Theories began to form. Some believed the boy might have come from a foster home nearby. Others thought he was an orphan or a runaway. But without a name, every lead turned into a dead end. Over the years, the case gained a haunting reputation. Newspapers dubbed him the boy in the box, and he became known as America's unknown child. Detectives, journalists, and amateur sleuths became obsessed. Some even dedicated their lives to the case. One theory suggested he came from a foster home not far from where he was found. Another claimed he might have been sold by his parents. And still another pointed toward organized crime. But none of these theories stuck. The truth remained hidden. For the boy himself, time moved on without answers. In 1998, his body was exhumed for DNA testing, but technology at the time couldn't provide any breakthrough. He was reburied at Ivy Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia with a headstone reading, "America's Unknown Child." The public never forgot him. His small grave was often decorated with flowers, toys, and notes from strangers who mourned the life he never got to live. As the decades passed, the case continued to fascinate the public. It was featured in documentaries, podcasts, and true crime forums. Some people claimed to know who he was, offering tips that led nowhere. The biggest tragedy was not just that his killer was unknown, but that his identity was erased. It was as though he never existed. And then, in the 2010s, a new tool began to change the game for cold cases everywhere: genetic genealogy. In 2019, investigators reopened the case with new determination. Using advanced DNA extraction techniques, they obtained a viable genetic profile from the boy's remains. This DNA was uploaded into genealogical databases used by people tracing their ancestry. Slowly, a family tree began to take shape. It wasn't fast. It wasn't easy. But after years of careful research, they found a match. On December 8, 2022, Philadelphia police announced the boy's true identity: Joseph Augustus Zarelli. He had been born on January 13, 1953, which meant he was only 4 years old when he died. For the first time in 65 years, America's unknown child had a name. The discovery shocked the public. Who was Joseph? Investigators revealed that Joseph had siblings, some still alive. His parents were identified, though their names were not publicly released at first. What's known is that Joseph came from a troubled home life. Police held a press conference, stating, "We have given America's unknown child his name back. Though the mystery of his death remains, we now know who he was." For many, it was a bittersweet moment. After decades, Joseph was no longer just a symbol of tragedy. He was a real boy with a birthday, a family, and a place in history. But while Joseph's identity was revealed, the case is not fully closed. Who killed him? Why was he abandoned in that box? Why did no one report him missing? Police believe someone out there still knows the truth. Joseph's name may have been restored, but his story is far from complete. Joseph Augustus Zarelli lived for only 4 short years. A life marked by hardship, ending in tragedy. But for 65 years, he remained a mystery that weighed heavily on the hearts of countless people. Now, with the power of DNA, his name lives on. His grave at Ivy Hill Cemetery has been updated to reflect his true identity. He is no longer America's unknown child. He is Joseph. For decades, Joseph was voiceless. But today, we can finally say his name out loud. Joseph Augustus Zarelli, a child who should have grown up loved and protected, but instead became one of the most haunting cold cases in history. At least now, after 65 long years, the world remembers him for who he truly was. Thank you for watching. If this case touched you, share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of mysteries, both solved and unsolved.